Welcome to Matters Financial and Geopolitical from a Frontier. I apologise for my absence on Monday, and on Tuesday yesterday I took a trip down the Rift Valley to Old Carrier, and I'll come to that momentarily. I was at a presidential function, groundbreaking ceremony for Old Carrier 6. Political reflections: government loses contempt vote 311 to 293. This is the first time in history the UK government has been found in contempt of Parliament. Channel 4 News has a 3-minute section. It's there on rich wrap-ups if you want to have a look at it. Theresa May will now bow to demands to publish the final and full legal advice on her Brexit deal. And then you can watch the video from Channel 4 News. Sterling, of course, has been practically untradeable, rose sharply after the top EU court advisor says the UK can cancel Brexit unilaterally without asking for permission. And then subsequently lost all its gains and dipped below 127. We found a lot of buying at 127 area. We're just around there right now. And just to reiterate, this is only the second time in the history of the Commonwealth that a government has been found in contempt of Parliament. That's John Ashbourne. First time was in Canada in 2011 when it prompted an immediate motion of no confidence in the collapse of the government. My piece over the weekend was about the G20 and the global economy. Have a read if you haven't had one. Lindsey Graham says there's not a smoking gun, there's a smoking saw. Back to the G20 in Buenos Aires, I said it was extraordinary. The optics were off the charts. It was Netflix level cinema. I said then, of course, the big set-piece event was in fact the meeting between Trump and China's core leader, President Xi Jinping. And now you've got two sides within Trump's administration. You've got Mnuchin and his crowd, and you've got Lighthizer and Navarro on the other. And if you want an insight into Navarro's thinking, have a listen to this podcast from NPR, where he's interviewed two economic superpowers, said they would return to negotiations. Listen to what Navarro's got to say. Breaking views: President Xi Jinping has proven himself adept at the art of buying time. A noticeable gap between the interpretations of the G20 dinner. China only obliquely hinted at structural reform, for instance, is not auspicious. In the end, though, it will all come down to Xi's calculation of what, in addition to more American imports, is the minimum he can offer to satisfy the US administration, or at least to persuade Trump to overrule the more hawkish advisors. He's secured extra time. Now he will need to be bold to clinch a deal. Going back to my article on Sunday, I said investors will of course expect a rebound. On Monday, a relief rally, as it were. How long it will last is anybody's guess, meaning it wasn't going to last very long. Trump has named LIGHTHIZER to run the US-China negotiations, and that says a lot. 15th of October, I was writing about US Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer and Dr. Peter Navarro. I said they've operated with surgical precision and have introduced an anti-dragon clause. They're in charge of the negotiation. I also was talking over the weekend about Putin fresh off his Kerch Strait interdiction, about him high-fiving the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. Intercepts have solidified the C.I.A. assessment that the Saudi prince ordered the Khashoggi killing. Michael Cohen is the 33rd person Mueller has charged. This is 538. The Indian Ocean region is expected to become the geostrategic center of gravity in the new Cold War. This is Eurasia's Andrew Korybeko. Sputnik reported that the Indian Navy Chief Admiral Sunil Lanbar just disclosed during a press conference on Monday that his country had secretly tracked a Chinese submarine in the Indian Ocean. in October, which sent several important messages, irrespective if his claims are true or not. The Indian Ocean is hegemonically regarded by India as its backyard, but they've lost tremendous ground. India considers one of the world's largest bodies of water to be exclusively within its sphere of influence, giving it the self-proclaimed right to supposedly track foreign submarines that traverse through the tens of millions of square miles of international waters. Here is a thinly disguised hegemonic message meant to convey its aspirations as a rising great power. India's American ally might well have lent a hand. Supposing that a Chinese submarine did indeed enter the Indian Ocean during October and was tracked the entire time, it's very likely that India was able to do this only through the help of its new American ally, via the working channels between their two militaries that were recently established through the Communications Compatibility and Security Agreement that was finally agreed in early September. 6th of August this year, I spoke of an Indian Ocean economy in a port race, and I said today from Massawa, Eritrea, admittedly on the Red Sea, to Djibouti, from Berbera to Mogadishu, from Lamu to Mombasa, to Tanga, to Bagamoyo, to Dar es Salaam, through Beira and Maputo, all the way to Durban, and all points in between, we are witnessing a port race of sorts. As everyone seeks to get a piece of the Indian Ocean port action, China, the BRI initiative, the Gulf countries who are now appear to see the Horn of Africa as their hinterland, Japan and India to a lesser degree, are all jostling for optimal geo-economic positioning. On that note, this is Ali the Navigator, who took us to Wasini Island a few years ago. August 2013, I also wrote about the Indian Ocean when I said I have no doubt that the Indian Ocean is set to regain its glory days. Muller reports Michael Flynn is singing like a canary. Over the weekend I said POTUS himself was under the Muller hammer, and then I was referencing Michael Cohen as one-time fixer, saying he too was singing like a canary.